load it up. Check on the live. Looks like that's being captured. Yep. That sure is my voice coming through, so it should be fine. Minimize that. Announcements. Discord message. Give everyone a ping. Alrighty. Bottle of water should be alright. Ah, right. That one there. Okay. Hey, how's it going? Fucking, this is gonna be some goofy fucking bullshit. I can already tell. So, fuck it. Let's go into it. Turnabout Succession. Episode 4. This is the whole truth of this case. Mason Systems. Oh. What is happening? Biomon? Why do people keep getting shot? In order to understand it myself, I didn't know the story of these last 7 years. Okay. Nothing happens by chance. All is connected. Well, not everything. Some things are just goofy shit. What? 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 And now you stand ready to begin the final chapter of this story. I don't know if I am ready. What was that? What is going on? Whomst the fuck? Will the defendant be found guilty or innocent? The decision is yours. What? Alright. October 7th, 10:37 a.m. Write Anything Agency. Hey Apollo, look at them. Look on TV. Look. Yeah, I'm kind of busy. Whoa, look at that. He's the last Grammary, alright? Amazing. Apollo, you should be watching this. Ow, ow, ow! What? What? I was writing about our last case in my journal. Lawyers are supposed to write things in records, Apollo, not journals. And why now? That case was 3 months ago. Hey, it's a long story. I did a lot, you know? I want to vacuum pack the feel of the moment for later. Right now, I'm wowing the crowd by figuring out how Lemoire disappeared. That's right, Uncle Valent did that illusion too. But you're missing him on TV right now. I was just getting to the good part. Suppose I should watch the TV here. Suppose I should watch a little TV with her. After all, her father's expecting me to look after her while he's away. What you're seeing now is a rehearsal for the greatest magic show on Earth. Happening right here at our very own Sunshine Coliseum. The Sunshine Coliseum? Hey, that's where the Gavineers concert was. Only 3 more days until the miracles happen here, right before your unbelieving eyes. Legendary troupe Grammary is performing for the first time in 7 years. Oh. Okay. That's going to be great. I'm so there. You and Daddy are coming too. The legendary Grammarys. Is that... Am I saying it right? I need to look up pronunciation for that. Because I think I've been saying it wrong the whole time. How to pronounce... Grammar... Yes. Grammary. Let's see. Hold on. Grammarly. Yeah, I'm saying it right. Grammarly. Double check it. No, this one says Grammarly. Top answer, Ace Attorney subreddit, Grammarly. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm saying it right. Grammarly. Legendary Grammarys. If Trucy's real father were still alive, he'd be on that stage performing miracles. I've got the tickets and everything. Here's yours, Apollo. Magic show ticket received. Ticket to the premiere showing of The Grand Illusion by magician Valiant Grammarly. Ah, here you are. Working hard or hardly working? Hey, how you been? Hey there, stranger. Not exactly the kind of greeting I want to hear from my own kid. Well, he has been gone a long time. How goes it, Trucy? Here, I got you a present. Yay, pudding. I love pudding. Oh, it's farm fresh. And not just one pudding, but 3 whole cups. I'll have to pace myself. Well, I'm beat. That's right, Daddy. You're on a top secret mission. You have to take it easy with these secrets, you know? How right you are. So you still can't tell us what your mission is. Maybe it's time. It has something to do with you anyway. Huh? With me? Oh, maybe you're getting a top secret mission too. Maybe you can be one of those guys. A spy. Can't I just be a defense attorney? To be honest, telling you about the mission was my whole reason for coming here today. What? Tell me. You heard of the Juris system, yes? The Juris system? That's right. The new legal system everyone's talking about. Have you heard of it, Apollo? Huh? Maybe? Maybe not as many people are talking about it as I thought. The Juris system, huh? So, Daddy, what's this Juris system thingy? Well, Trucy, do you know what a jury is? I've heard of it. Isn't that those people who sit in a court in those old courtroom dramas? The ones who get to decide if a guy's innocent or guilty. Do you know Apollo? Only from TV. It's 12 people chosen from the community, right? Well, they're thinking about reviving that system. They're calling it the new system. I'm calling the new system the Juris system. No more doing whatever you like, Your Honor. Not quite that harsh. The jurists cooperate with the judge. They help analyze the case from different angles. Ah, and there will only be 6 of them under the current proposal, right? Wow, you know your stuff, Apollo. Their findings directly affect the verdict. Hopefully people will start taking the courts a little more seriously now. I feel like I'm on some kind of educational TV show. Starring Dr. Wright. Dr. Wright and his assistant Trucy. And mascot Apollo. Perfect team. Hey! So, what is this secret mission? The Juris system is my mission, more or less. Anyway, keep in mind that new ideas like the system are always risky, Apollo. Too true. Everyone's got an opinion, and they just talk and talk and nothing gets decided. Kind of like you, Apollo. I'm not that bad, am I? In any case, we're gonna give it a shot. A test, if you will. I don't like tests. We'll take a case as a sample and choose 6 jurists. I'll be the one helping with that process, incidentally. Helping how? Well, for one, I'll be a chair on one of the Juris simulated... Well, for one, I'll be chair of the Juris System Simulated Court Committee. The chair constructs the ideal situation, choosing the case, the Juris candidates, even the judge in the courtroom. Wow, it's like you have a real job. I was never that good at the piano, to be honest. Once a lawyer, always a lawyer, I guess. Trial's tomorrow, by the way. Don't miss it. The trial simulation, that is. Simulation, huh? Sounds interesting. So, what kind of case is the trial simulation about? Well, since it's the first run-through of the new system, I wanted something simple. Been thinking, no sense wearing yourself out on something's too serious. True. The case is murder. That's not simple at all! By simple, did you mean that the defendant is... guilty? Yes, most likely. So good luck, Apollo. With what? With the trial tomorrow. You're defending, of course. Recall that I said it had something to do with you. Go for it, Apollo. It's just a test case anyway, no sweat. Yeah, but there's still a verdict to be decided. And a potentially serious sentence. Most serious, in the worst case scenario. Yeah, I mean the verdict is for real? That's not a test trial, that's a real trial! All the forms have been filed, there's no turning back now. Trial begins tomorrow at 10 AM. Hope you can make room in your schedule. Why am I only hearing about this now? Ah, yes, there was a change this morning. I picked a new case. Eh? Something that happened last night. Hey, Paulo, I know you're all excited about that secret mission. But what about this? The Triv Grammary Grand Magic Show. Huh? Oh, right. Guilty, yeah. They're not card tricks. They're grand illusions, miracles, the apocalypse, heaven and earth will shake. So, what? That's 3... So what? That's 3 whole days from now. It's at Sunshine Coliseum. Let's go today. We can say hi to Uncle Valent. Have fun. What? I can't go by myself. You know I'm not very outgoing. Right. Why not go with her? But what about the secret mission? Oh, don't worry about that. You hear all about it tomorrow, regardless. I don't trust that smile. He knows something and he's not telling me. Yippee! Now you can take me to the Coliseum. I suppose it wouldn't kill me to pop over there. Ah, Grammary. That reminds me. What's this, Daddy? Isn't that silk hat the Grammary seal? Consider it a birthday present, Trucy. Thanks, it's great. But... today isn't my birthday. Good point. What day is it today, Apollo? Huh? Today? I think it's Recycle Your Plastics Day. Then it's recycle... then it's a Recycle Your Plastics present. Yippee, so it's plastic. I've given up trying to understand them. It's much easier that way. So what's this? So what is it? Can I open it? No. Huh? You'll need that envelope someday. Someday soon. Don't open it until then. Well, why didn't you just hold on to it until then? That would be the logical thing to do. Alright. An envelope about the Grimiries, huh? Alright, let's take a look at some of this. Magic show ticket. $70? Doors open at 10 a.m. Are you ready, Apollo? Ready? For what? For what? For the Triv Grammary Grand Magic Show. It's not like I'm getting up on the stage or anything. What are you talking about, Apollo? You can't enjoy magic if you're not part of what's going on upstage. I'll lend you my spare costume if you need one. Huh? You mean I can't go in this? No. Doesn't get more straightforward than that. Alright. Something terrible is gonna happen, I can tell already. Ooh, signature. Ah, looky here. A handwritten signature. It says... I can't read it. That seems odd to me. I mean, isn't a signature intended to show ownership? What's the use if no one can read it? Isn't it enough if you can read your own? Oh, I never thought of it that way. Interesting. Alright, trial simulation. Alright, so what case are you going to use? You really want to know, don't you? Of course I do. I mean, I'm going to be defending, aren't I? If all goes well, then yes, of course, this is just a test. I want everyone to start without preconceptions, a blank slate, as it were. There's still a difference between having a blank slate and just being totally clueless. Whose dumb idea was that anyways? Well, mine. Committee chair, remember? Oh. Well, if you want to know that badly, I suppose I could give you permission to examine the scene of the crime. Good. That's better. You can't talk to anyone involved with the case. What? How am I supposed to defend? You let me worry about the details there. Remember, I'm in charge of this trial. All of it. You don't want it to backfire, do you? Follow. I'm in charge of the whole trial. That means the entire affair is my responsibility, for good or for bad. Just do what you can. And don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Alright. I'd recommend going down to the detention center. Your client's waiting for you. You can ask about the scene there. It'd be very interesting, because that's like a wildly different tone from the rest of it. But you could have just... But you just said I couldn't talk to anyone involved. Oh, you can talk to your client. If you can get her to talk. Well, time's a-wasting. Fucking thanks, Nick. What the fuck? Alright, detention center first. Sorry, Tracy. That's 20 minutes we've been waiting here. 20 minutes! Maybe I should complain. I'm sure that guard has better things to do than stand there pretending he doesn't see us. You know, the minute we get angry, the client will show. It always works that way. Like shouting, "Oh, waiter," and they're standing right behind you. Oh, guard! Is our client going to be much longer? What are you talking about? Haven't you already started the meeting yet? Huh? Oh! Hello. Eek! What? Where did you come from? Well, anyway, please have a seat. Oh, you're cute. I'm nervous, Apollo. It's the silence, it builds suspense. Why don't you do something, Trucy? You're a magician, aren't you? That's right. Okay. I'm the amazing Mr. Hat. Eek! She passed out. Miss Magic Underwear might have been a better bet. That's Magic Panties, Apollo. Introductions. Hi. Well, I'm your defense. I really think it has to be fate, you know? And by fate, I mean destiny. You know I'm good with astrology? Tell me, what's your sign? I can tell you mine if you like, Apollo. No, never mind. I just got carried away there. Seem destined to get difficult clients, it seems. God, yeah, our clients have kind of sucked. Last one was pretending to be blind and also pretending he couldn't speak our language. Like, what a pain in the ass. So what's your name? Oh, right, I'm supposed to introduce myself first. I'm Apollo, Apollo Justice. And I'm Trucy Wright. I know, this is getting nowhere fast. I have a court record for you? Who the fuck? No, I don't. Who are you? Hey, I know. Maybe you can tell us what happened. I'm your defense attorney, after all. Anything out of the ordinary happened lately? But the other day, this tourist from out of town stopped to ask me directions. Later, Trucy. I feel like I need to ask directions myself here. Well, that was fruitless. Though I think I understand despair a little better now. You did good, Apollo. What is that? What What is, it's a hand? It's a crystal hand. Look, she's doing her nails. What? Are nails more important than defense? Is that it? Let's go, Trucy. What? What? Excuse me. Could you read this? Vera Misham. Sure. I feel like a teenager on the first date. And this love letter we passed from desk to desk at school. Stop looking so wistfully and read it, Apollo. It's a business card with a name and an address. The name is Vera Misham? The address is for Drew Studio. Vera's card added to the court record. Defendant's business card. The address for Drew Studios on the front. Okay, so her name is Vera. I like that name. And you're giving me this card because... Oh, it looks like we're finished here. I wonder if Drew Studio is the scene of the crime. Let's go find out. Alright. What? Okay, what happened? Wow, it looks like a studio. It's like life imitating art, or maybe it's the other way around. With the tape on the ground, it's a bit jarring. Yeah, it looks like we found our crime scene. Apollo, look at all those paintings. Hey, don't touch those. It's okay, I'm just looking. I see. Ah. Uh-huh. Oh. Very art. That's Momotaro, isn't it? Huh? Apollo, look at this one. Looks half finished. You can still see the rough sketch underneath. But that's odd. The rough part doesn't look like the rest of the painting at all. Yeah, good point. That is odd. Drew Mishram's painting out of court record. Obtained at Drew Studio, only half finished, the rough sketch is still visible. Well, the paintings have really different styles, too. I thought I might find you two here. Ah, detective! Emma, long time no see. Oh. Seems like I run into you far too often. You better know why you're here, too. You know about the trial simulation tomorrow? I've heard about it, sure. So Mr. Wright chose you, huh? We don't even know what the case is about. Well, he was killed. The artist who owns the studio, that is. Oh my god, I hope not. That's so much. Mr. Drew Mishram. Mishram? And his daughter was put under arrest. Yeah, we just saw her at the detention center. It was funny, though. She seemed more like a victim than the kind of person who could commit murder. You don't say. Not even by poisoning. That's how it was done, you know. Poisoning is a common way to get the job done when the murderer is a woman. Poisoning? That's sexist. Anyway, Mr. Wright told me you'd be coming. Feel free to take a look around. I'll just be over here, with my snackaroos. We can't talk to anyone related to the case this time around. Which means we'd better find out as much as we can here at the scene. Or else. Well. Whoa, okay. There's a lot more going on here. Let's start over here. Damn it. That letterbox looks funny sitting inside a room like this. Let's take a look. Empty. The other half of the letterbox is actually connected outside of the studio. This is the Richmond who put his letters in there. And the postman took them away. Impressive that someone still writes letters at this day and age. What is it called? Is that... I've been reading it as that. Is that not what it says? I went to check Apple's profile like I was gonna say something. Is that not what it says? Hey, there's a painting hidden back here. Hey, you're right. What if it's embarrassing somehow, and he didn't want anyone seeing it? You can certainly seem pleased by the possibility. Huh? It's so normal. It's the same as the other painting. Hardly something to get mad about. Oh yeah, history. Go that far back? Emma. Snackoos? Ah, shit. Oh, I'm adding a whole syllable. I'm adding 2 syllables there. Or 2 letters. What? Snackoos. You know what it is? I was playing, what's it called? My Friendly Neighborhood. And at the very beginning of the game, there's the character Ricky who offers you snackaroos. And it's it's just in my it was just in my head. It's like, oh yeah, snack and then ooze. Clearly it's snackaroos. Oops. Fuck it. I'm this far in. It's gonna have to be snackaroos. I'm not gonna remember snackoos. I'm just gonna say snackaroos. Huh? What is it, Paulo? Well, doesn't this painting look like... Never mind. I better get a professional painting on this. Hidden painting added to the court record. Ah, what? Portrait obtained through studios. Is the bit in the middle supposed to be a person? Yeah, I can see arms and a face, vaguely. And I guess an ass? Acrylic, taken through studio, the undersea scene, vivid colors. Landscape, half finished. Hidden painting. Okay. Hey, Apollo, this painting, I know it. Huh? Really? It's that story where the old woman is doing the wash in the river. And this giant peach comes up floating down. That might possibly be the strangest thing I've ever heard. Okay, nothing interesting, but I can take a look at all of these. Apollo, look at this painting. You can see a rough sketch. Looks like it was only half completed. Huh? That's funny. Did the rough sketch and the finished painting look totally different to you? They do, actually. What's that all about? Fish. Is that a puffer fish? Apollo, it's clearly a porcupine fish. They're not the same thing? You know what gets me? They've got all these needles, right? Well, what's protecting that soft spot on the lower belly there? Nothing. Must remember to keep Trucy away from small round fish. Okay, nothing interesting. And the last one. Sure looks like a person. Well, what do we have here? It looks like a person thinking about something. Maybe they're worried. Like, what should I have for supper? A hot dog or a hamburger? You know, I've always wondered about that. Why is there supper and dinner? Are they different meals with the same thing? Maybe that's what this person's thinking about. I doubt it, but, you know. What a pretty business card. It looks like a postcard almost. And on the back, just her name. Huh? What does? This thing is not some random comment. There is a difference? What's the difference? Why not use a space on the back for a self-portrait or a caricature? Then people would remember what you look like too. It's not a bad idea, actually. Here, give me one of your cards, Apollo. She's drawing something. Hey, my hair's not that spiky. I wouldn't mind taking a closer look at those paintings. I just love oils. You know how they're so thick? Is that the word? These paintings are all dry. Oh, he sent a link, okay. Balloonfish, porcupine fish, and pufferfish. What's the difference? What is the difference? Let's learn a little bit. I don't care about cookies. Pufferfish versus blowfish. Pufferfish have the unique ability to suck in water and air to greatly inflate their bodies as a defense mechanism. These animals become round like beach balls, rendering them more than double their size when viewed from the front. Okay. 10 families. There are two main groups: smooth puffers and spiny puffers. Okay. Porcupine fish whose spines stand up when the body is inflated. Fish whose spines are always erect. Okay. So there's just pufferfish, which is the larger thing. It's anything that all of them that suck in water to inflate. And the smooth puffers, not this one. Smooth puffers are just the ones that are, you know, smooth. They look like a ball. There's a spiny pufferfish, which looks like this one. There's a porcupine fish, which might be this one, whose spikes stand up when they inflate. And there's burrfish. So spikes are always inflated. Ah. You learn something new every day. Not about the legal trial. Not about the legal system, about pufferfish. I'm surprised how different these all are. Yeah, and what's going on with this half-finished one? Must have been a work in progress. You can still see the rough sketch below. Fish facts. That's so weird. The sketch part doesn't really fit the finished parts. I notice. That is weird. Hey, Kapalo. That's where the body was. That's the spot where Mr. Drew Masham passed away. He put the coffee mug to his lips, and the next moment, there's quite a bit of paint on the ground. Oh, there's quite a bit of paint on the ground. See that half-painted painting there? He must have been working on it right from the moment he died. Wow, a true artist to the end. Or maybe he started it a year ago and was procrastinating. That's too real, Emma. Ah, this is the victim's coffee. Aha, so the poison was in here. This is my first time seeing a real poisoned mug of coffee. I would hope so. Poisoned coffee? Not exactly, actually. What do you mean? No traces of the poison were found on the coffee. What? You have to figure it out the rest for yourself. I'm officially not on your side, after all. Oh. Victim's last cup of coffee. The side of the cup reads Misham. Teacup. Imagine this coffee cup was for guests to use. Guess? Did the police already analyze this cup too? Not a trace of poison was found on that cup. The killer was after Drew Misham alone. Okay. Looks about all that matters on this side. Let's take a look at here. Examine. Look at all these paints, Apollo. There's so many. He's got like 20 kinds of red. We could repaint your suit, Apollo. How about this shade of green? That'll be enough of that, thanks. What is all this stuff? What is all the equipment here for? It doesn't look very artistic, really. Made everything from a lathe to a laser cutter. Looks like he was ready to work on metals and wood, too. Well, his equipment's a bit old, to tell the truth. Why would a painter need all this? Fucking hobbyist. From the dust, I'd say he hasn't used this stuff for years. This corner doesn't fit with the rest of the studio. Oh, do you think I could borrow this? I want to cut a quarter in half for to make a trick coin. This is a crime scene, Trucy. But these cost like $50 at a magic store. Yeah, fucking props are expensive, man. Is this desk for painting, Apollo? That'll be a drafting table. Drafting? Basically, it's a tool for making precise diagrams. Wow, painting is harder than I thought. Why would a painter need a drafting table? Was he an architect? Let's take a closer look at this desk here. Whoa. Hello, little man. Something about the way this figure is posed. I've seen that pose before. It's you, Apollo. See, you're making one of your flamboyant gestures. Please, I'm a professional. I wonder why it's posed like that. Coincidence? This is a journal? Wow, talk about a clue. Let's read it. Oh, what is it, Apollo? He didn't write the name of the killer, did he? It's new. He didn't write a single line. Ah, you had me going for a while there. Oh, cute! Look at the tiny frame, Apollo. Tiny's right. That thing's only 2 inches high. What picture would fit in that? None, apparently. It's empty. No glass in it, either. What's it doing sitting on the desk? This is a lesson for us all. Be sure to check the size when you buy frames. Alright, that's a good one. This is Drew Meashram. Drew Meashram. And this little girl must be Vera. Yeah, they took that one some years ago. Look close. A happy little family. Until you arrested his daughter. Ah. Look, I was personally against that, okay? She just didn't seem very suspicious, scientifically speaking. Uh-huh, right. I can't wait to see how this all rolls into fucking magic and shit like that. Hey, Apollo, what's this feathery thing? Isn't it a pen? Like an old-fashioned quill pen? But it doesn't have a pointy end. That was most likely for sweeping detritus off the desk. Wow, you sure know a lot, Emma. Bold and scientific, that's my motto. Particularly, what about that was bold or scientific? Not there. This envelope has been opened and resealed. Oh, I know how to do that. Take a pot of boiling water and hold the envelope up to the steam. The glue melts and it opens. Cool, huh? Whoever did this wasn't so delicate. You're right, it looks like they just ripped it open and stuck it back together. Huh? The postmark on this letter is from 7 years ago. Why would someone open a letter, then seal it again? Better hang on to this. Okay, I think that's about all we're gonna be getting from this. Double check the court record. Look at the coffee cup. What the fuck is on? What is this? Hey, look there! That stain doesn't look healthy, Apollo. That must be the Blue Mountain stuff we've been hearing about. Something tells me that even Blue Mountain coffee isn't this blue. Oh, the stain is probably... better ask Emma. Red envelope. Apollo, look, it's been opened once here. Right. I wonder if there's some way to see... some way we can see what's inside. Should I try getting it open and then stick it back shut? Let's not tamper with the evidence, shall we? I've got a better idea. Emma! Let's ask her. Doc. So this, Drew Meashram was some kind of artist? Apparently, did a lot of illustrations for books, I hear. A lot of female fans, too, for what it's worth. Oh? Well, I guess the stuff is kind of pretty. Like that oil painting over there, for instance. Yeah. That wasn't one of his illustrations, actually. Huh? So it was a standalone painting or something? Is that what she means? He was an odd bird, Misham. I hadn't shown his face to anyone until the end. What do you mean, to anyone? He was always locked up here in his studio, apparently. His only connection to the outside world. Just the letters he put in the letterbox there. Letters? Do people still write letters? What do you mean, Apollo? I mean, when was the last time you wrote a real letter? Don't most people use email and stuff nowadays? Not Misham, couldn't stand technology, it seems. He did everything by mail. Maybe he thought that way was more artistic, you know? In any case, the only person besides him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please? We took some fingerprints, of course. No one was found in the room where Misham's and Vera's, basically. Basically? Actually, last night, Mr. Misham gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. Happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever. Can you tell us a bit more about what happened the night of the murder? What? So this woman, Vera, she's Mr. Misham's daughter, right? Yep, a real sickly girl, ever since she was little. Hardly went outside. She did kind of give off a withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. Quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. And then again, she agreed to leave if it was allowed. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? But why would a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. What about the poison that was found to be in his coffee, right? No, not precisely. Not precisely? What does that mean? It means see for yourself, I think. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from outside came into a studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make for good articles. And it just so happened that he died the night of his first interview? At around 9 PM every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night he drank his usual coffee and suddenly became violently ill. And died. She poisoned him on the night of his interview. Wouldn't the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Misham when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment in the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was a reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? Anyone is suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Misham's coffee. Even Vera acknowledges that. Regardless, I want to know more about this reporter. Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, flattery will get you everywhere with her, Apollo. Huh? What are you two whispering about? Well, I was thinking. I mean, what is it we already do when we run into you at the scene of a crime? What is it we always do when we run into you at the scene of a crime? What is it we always do scientifically? Ah, you know me too well. Okay. Okay, meaning we can get scientific now. Oh, I suppose, just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. Sure. What do you think about this? Emma, about this painting. Well, that, quite good, isn't it? That's not what I wanted to ask you about. I don't examine it, is that it? I'd be happy to let you if you had a good reason. Oh, without that, sorry. I guess she wants us to do a little footwork on her own first. Alright. Tell you about the coffee cup. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue, residue on the rim? Eh? Ah, that! Yes, well, it's just a rumor. I heard that there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Ah, right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science. I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. So, what kind of scientific stuff were you up to? The spray that turns blue when it touches poison. So the poison that killed the victim was on this mug? That's right, see? It wasn't in the coffee. Killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow, science is amazing. It certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma would be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. It's certainly worth talking to her a bit more. About poison analysis. I was afraid you were going to ask about that. See, this solution is used for tests for... Fuck. We figured out how to say this, and I've forgotten entirely. This is poison from... Case 2? Atroquinine. Huh? Atroquinine, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Uh-oh. I know that spark in her eyes. Getting excited. Gavin's favorite poison. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but it's absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for the adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown... That's fine, really. We don't need to know all the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray this stuff on something if you want to test it, right? Precisely. You can find even the slightest trace of poison with this. I want to try it too, Emma. Pretty please? You know, you don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Hey, let's give it a whirl, Apollo. Ah! What are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction off of you. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again. I'm not poisonous. Tell that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poison, shall we? Hey, everybody. Use your stylus. Touch the DS touchscreen. Ah, that's what it is. What? I'm sure that there's gonna be something here. They're not just gonna give you this tutorial and then just have nothing be here, right? Gotta be something here. I refuse to believe there's nothing. Too bad, no reaction there. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know. Let's check it out, just to be sure. Oh, okay. Ah! Atroquinine. Eek! A reaction, Apollo. Ah! Where? The inside of that cute little frame. Look. Oh, would you look at that? Nice going, Trucy. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. Frame measuring 2 inches by 2 inches. Bears traces of deadly poison atroquinine. Why would the inside of that frame have poison on it? Looks like we found the only place that was poisoned in any case. Interesting. Yeah, why is that poisoned? What? Looks like you have to take the back part off. To put the. Looks like you have to take this back part off first. Put a photo inside. It'd have to be a really small photo to fit in there. True, and that pale bluish stain. Why would there be poison on something like this? Well, there's one obvious reason. But poison in the coffee rubbed a bit on here too. That's not very obvious, Trucy. That's weird. What? Alright. Red envelope. And about this. Oh, that. Yes, why that's a bright red envelope. Sure is jumpy. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean, you know what's inside the envelope? Sure, I read it after all. Ah, you mean you're the one who ripped this open? Ha, please. I would have steamed it open. But you did sneak a peek at it, apparently. I know that I have a powerful weapon on my side. Weapon? Yes. The use of tools, highly specialized tools for gathering information. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. They say a little praise can open big doors. Never heard of that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking to her some more. About that envelope we found. I was wondering if you could help us with that tool you mentioned. You want to know what my tool is, do you? Called an X-ray analyzer. X-ray? Like the X-rays you get at the dentist? That's right, at least that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization... something. How am I supposed to remember all that? So basically it lets you see inside things like envelopes. That's right, you're sharp, Trucy. But it's a bit more complicated than that. In practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works scientifically. Can I try it out, Emma? Please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. Alright, let's give it a spin, Apollo. You just carrying that around? Yeah, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just seeing if I could see through your hair. But it's like lead. Point that thing at me anymore, I might fall out. It all might fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through it. Let's just get down to business, shall we? Alright, let's test out a sample first. Just so happens I have a lottery ticket here. Scanning. You set the sample in the device like so? I don't see anything. Patience. Here's no need to get all antsy. Look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view envelope. Layer view. Yeah, it's set to display the outside of the envelope, see? Actually, it's quicker to have you just give it a try. Turn that dial with the... would you for me? Yeah, I sure am doing something. That's right, that's how you choose what depth you want to scan. Hey, I got something. See, that's how you can read the letters on the... That's how you can see the... That's how you can read the letters on the ticket inside. Cool, huh? Except, I can't read them. Let's turn up the dial a little more. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom out that much, you see the paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam that has a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. They break cards down into thin layers, so it can only show what's written on that layer. Not entirely following what it is that I'm not entirely following, but what good is it if you can't read anything? That's why we go on to step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit, if you would. Rubbing, like going over the image with... what? While holding... what? Rub the DS screen. Yeah, that fixes the image on the screen. I've shown the dial again, just a little. Good, now you can rub this image to fix it too. Hey, I get it. Please keep doing this until we got the whole thing. Exactly, not bad. Neat, let's do some more. Touch the DS touchscreen. Ah, bad luck, Emma. Better luck next time. Okay, let's print this one out. Does this mean I have to buy another one to win? Well, it's Emma's ticket. Let's buy her. Let her buy another one. That's okay, there's no need. But see, this is the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Let's try it out on the real thing, shall we? Oh boy. Time for the DS touchscreen minigame. Yep. Just rub all that there. Mr. Drew Measham, deposit is $100,000 in the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Mr. Drew Measham, deposited $100,000 in the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Someone deposited $100,000 into Mr. Measham's account? His paintings must be really valuable. There's another page in there. Here, take a look. You bet I do. You're going to read someone's mail, you might as well read it all. Here goes with the second page then. Oh my god. Yeah, let's print this one out. Sign the papers and send them in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need to remind you to speak of this to no one. So it was a letter going on about payment for one of his paintings. Why all the secrecy though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in there? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him. Well, Emma? Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came in here for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't tell you because he's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. Never forget that face. Well, what was his name? Oh, right. Brushel. Brushel? He's after a scoop to tell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with a painter. His first interview ever, and that night he's killed. Seems strange to you? Really strange. Does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on the beat today, too. Said something about covering a magician? Magician? Well, if it's not Tracy, that leaves only one other person. It wasn't Valiant Gramarye by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got a big show lined up, I hear. So he's out interviewing Valiant. Looks like I'll be headed out to that Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Here, I'll give you the reporter's card if you want it. Hey. Cool. Freelance journalist, Bart Bushel. I guess it's good. I guess you gotta have a good business card if you want to work freelance. Really? What's this? A camera lens finder? Reporters take photos too? I guess if he's freelance, he'd have to. Maybe you should try being a prosecutor and a defense attorney. You'd always win. Why don't I become a rock star too while I'm at it? Top dollar information. Jesus. Alright. Oh yeah. Let's ask Emma about a couple things. First, we didn't take a look at this. It sure is just a picture of a box. Cool. Emma, I was wondering if you could take a look at this. I'm a detective. A detective? You just ask me any old thing and expect an answer? I think you need to be a little more focused in your inquiries. Scientific, even. That's how I know you should get around to science. Alright. What do you mean it's not scientific? You didn't know about this. This is crazy. Why is this photo frame got atroquinine in it? Alright. Anything new to talk about? Alright. Thank you, Emma. I will see you hopefully never. Woohoo! There it is, Apollo. The place where magic and dreams converge. Just a while ago, it was a place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valiant. What about the case? Wahahahahahaha! Only a performer laughs like that. The young Miss Trucy! How often I hoped we'd meet again, only to tell myself it was an impossible dream. Hehe, Uncle Valiant, how goes it? I'm glad to see you too. Of course you are. Humility is definitely not one of his stronger traits. Well, Miss Trucy, how does the day find you? If you come to give me flowers, do it after the show, I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck. And congratulations on your big magic show. Oh ho! But it is I who wish to congratulate you. Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles such as the ones I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing. We get the picture. The world will watch with wonderment as Magnifi's illusions are reborn. Here on stage by my hand. Big magic show. Everyone's talking about the big magic show. Is it true that the Grammary Miracle is back after a 7-year absence? Miss Trucy, I must apologize. This show and this honor should have been his. Daddy. My co-magician in training, Zach Grammary. If that terrible thing hadn't happened. It's okay. Your father was a great magician, Trucy. If you were alive, then even I, Valiant Grammary, would have been proud to stand upon the stage as his assistant. Thanks, Uncle Valiant. You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnifi's illusions once more. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she? My mentor, the magnificent Magnifi Grammary, was a true deity among magicians. A creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations. I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to the outer space faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a little bit embellished. Yeah, very sad. For 70 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match his. As heir to the Grammary Troop's secrets, it falls to me to provide one. It is my God-given destiny. Yes, you nameless face who speaks for the nameless masses, how can I help you? If the world was waiting, why did you hold off for 7 long years? It appears the lad is uninformed. Perhaps you have heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land. I have, though I'm not sure if it qualifies as magic. The performance of Magnifi's miracles was impossible. A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more. 7 years? That phrase sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that? A little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy. Can you tell us about these performance rights? Magnify's magic relied on an incredibly innovative idea, a trick, if you will. That trick was considered his property, and as such, was protected by property laws. Intellectual property. Oh, fuck. Intellectual property, maybe? Magnify knew this and bequeathed it in his will. To one person. You mean him? Yes, Miss Trucy, it was your father. Zack Gremory was the inheritor of Gremory's miracle. Daddy. Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago. I think I see where this is going. Once a person is classified missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct? Oh, fuck. Is that all me? Ah, it was. Once a person has been missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct? In all absoluteness, those rolled up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time which you speak is 7 years. Ah. Yes, Miss Trucy. Though it pains me to say, this past spring, April to be precise, was the time your father was legally declared deceased. In the absence of a formal will, the secrets of our mighty mentor, Magnify, passed to me. This was, in fact, stipulated in the will by Magnify himself. Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death in absentia. He's declared missing permanently. Daddy. That's fucking sad. I changed the sign since our last case. It was all Gavin ears back then, wasn't it? I hope nothing bizarre and mysterious happens this time. But it shall. Why, the show itself will be bizarre and mysterious, I assure you. I don't have a problem with mystery as long as it's legal. I don't think lawyers and magicians were really meant to have conversations like this. You got a fucking balloon. Look, Apollo, a balloon. A hot air balloon. With a Gremory seal on it, no less. Well, this is a long way to revival after all, and it's been 7 years, you know. I spent plenty of time and a pretty penny on promotion. I hope it's a huge success, Uncle Valent. Oh, and I intend for it to be nothing less, I assure you. They both sure seem excited about it. I guess it's a big deal for magicians. I guess we just present stuff. Present. Ah, a challenge, is it? You want me to make that disappear? Very well, give it to me. No, thanks. Are all magicians like this? Apollo? What's that look just now? I was just thinking how hard it is to get any information out of a magician. Wait, what do you think of this? I was wondering if you could tell me about this. Aha! Why, that bears the Gremory seal! Uncle Valent? Is something wrong? Trucy, where did you get this? Huh? Daddy gave it to me. Your daddy? My partner, Zack Gremory. No, my other daddy, Phoenix Wright. Why now? Why was your lord daddy? Stop. Can we stop? Can we refer to it as literally anything else? I'm really tired of saying daddy over and over again. It's very funny, but can we not? That's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit. The signature upon the back, do you recognize it? That belongs to none other than Zack Gremory. What? Had he signed this? Might I be so bold as to open it? I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What's in this envelope, I wonder? It's probably performance rights being transferred to Trucy. Something like that? Or adoptive father? Because there's a court record. Nick picked up Trucy pretty well as soon as, or in the process of him losing his license, him being disbarred as a lawyer. So that was about when Trucy was 8. I'm gonna guess that this is probably going to be Zack Gremory's will. And bequeathing the performance rights to Trucy. It's gonna be really fucked up if Valiant Gramarye was the one who killed him. But it looks like that was the case. Or at the very least, he was in an altercation with Zack? Okay, so what do we know so far is that Magnifique Gramarye, upon his death, like actual confirmed death, passed on the performance rights to his illusions to Zack Gramarye. We saw in the intro to this that there was a scene of two magicians standing off against one another, and pistols drawn, with it looks like a woman being shot, hoisted in the air. So I would think that Zack and Valiant had a disagreement about the performance rights. The woman is probably Trucy's actual mother. In the scuffle that had the two men draw pistols, Trucy's mother was shot, and I guess Zack Gramarye took the sort of onus on himself and disappeared from the world for murdering his wife. Left a will bequeathing the performance rights to Trucy. But I guess Nick hid the envelope, that hid the will from Valiant. Because if Valiant got the will, then he might do something to Trucy. Depends on how sincere Valiant is with his like guardianship of Trucy, or his godfathership, I guess. Because I don't think there was any actual relationship between Trucy and Nick. So I'm guessing the incident 7 years ago was the death of Trucy's mother, and probably a legal case between, or a murder trial with either Valiant or Zack as the defendant. It was probably something to do with Nick forging evidence, or having been forced to forge evidence, which caused him to be disbarred. Or maybe it seemed like he forged evidence. Knowing that she couldn't bring whoever killed her to justice, I guess Zack disappeared, left a will to Trucy, and then maybe Nick took Trucy under his care? Hard to tell. I don't think there's any reason to talk to him anymore. Oh. Hey, you're still here. That's odd. Detention center. You're here to see Vera Meeshram. Yeah, that's right. She's in the medical office at the moment. Medical office? Is she okay? She's just lying down. Said she didn't feel so good. I'm sorry, but I can't allow any meetings at the moment. Most annoying client ever. I guess we should come back. Okay. Present. Present. Have you seen this guy around? So a journalist was here on a story? All eyes in the universe are here upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. His name was Brushel. 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 I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel, that cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? Man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Valent's vision is always toward tomorrow. Valent's feet always step forward. That is all. That is all very confusing. To perform a big magic show, yes. I wanted someone to cover it. Yet he had ears only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the floodlights. It is but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magic of Gramarye. Uncle Valent, you know where the reporter went. I recommended he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center? He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. You tear apart my respectability, I will tear him apart. Oh, here comes Apollo. Uncle Valent's big magic trick. Is he gonna fix the card? Not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic? It is no more miraculous for it to stay. Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? He must really not have liked that journalist. Now the time has come where I must return to make my prestigious preparations. By your leave, Miss Trucy. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle! Huh. What do you think that journalist was after? Why did Valent react like that to this envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. That was fucking weird. What's up, Nick? I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money. End quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter. Who the what? What voice do I give this guy? What am I looking at? What? What is this character? Shit, dude. Hey there, how are you doing? Who might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. But you have a toothbrush in your fucking pocket, man. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. You're Justice, you? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on the stand till they spill the beans. End quote. That's not true. What's he writing? You're a reporter by a chance. Ooh, you're Trucy. Eh? Am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties. End quote. Eek, that's not true. Just hold on to your breeches there. I'll wrap this interview up in a jiffy. Interview? Show guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms in my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No, how many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with them. Did you come here to interview the guard? Oh, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk. Had to interview someone or go plumb crazy. End quote. Huh? I should have guessed. Does Valent have a pistol on his hip? Oh, does he? I didn't notice. Oh shit, I don't know actually. Hold on. Let me roll back my stream a little bit. That sounds crazy. He definitely has a holster. I don't know if it's a pistol, but it's definitely a holster of some kind. What?
Where are my manners? Name's Brussel, Spark Brussel. I'm not picky. Drillus just closes his eyes, writes. End quote.
It's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins.
Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem, madness. End quote.
I could see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist?
Oh, me? Look. Let me state one thing for the record here.
Yes?
I'm the interviewer, you understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here, end quote.
Okay.
For instance, you think a movie director watches movies?
Well, I think he probably does.
Exactly. I knew you'd understand.
Huh? What? So, the night of the murder, you were at your studio?
Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record.
Yes?
I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy, real busy, always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back. End quote.
I can understand that philosophy, but...
You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the other airport.
True enough. But don't they give normal tickets away too?
Exactly. See, it's the same thing.
What is?
Oh.
So you went to do a story on Drew Mishim. And you'd never had a story done about him before.
That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
Well, what?
I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place?
Well, yes.
Look, it's like... Oh, I've got it. See, there's this burger joint with famous ketchup. With fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's going to tell me where he got it?
At the supermarket, maybe.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I think I may have actually understood that one.
Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers, end quote.
Right. I guess we'll leave then.
Ah, but since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit about news I saw, just for the heck of it.
Sure, tell us. Just for the heck of it.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup. And an article in the tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from an art dealer's gallery, end quote, I believe it was.
Oil painting?
Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river.
What is wrong with your face? Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach?
Journalists can smell scoop better than burgers, end quote. Ah, right, let me get on the record here.
Yes?
I know what you're going to say. Russell, take this, write brilliant column, end quote.
I don't think so.
Look, but I write brilliant columns about one thing. And that's food. Try to understand.
What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. Okay. Okay, nothing to say about that. Well, you're thoroughly useless. Can I not talk to him anymore? Okay, not that one. Let's see. Oh, okay. I don't think I'm gonna get anything out of them. Get me out of here. Drew Studio. Ah, okay. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there's one thing I wanted to check with you. Well, what's the scary face you're making? What's with the I know something I'm not telling you face you've got going on, Emma? Actually, yeah. I don't know if you take a look at this. Okay. Take a look at this. Why can't we do a fucking... Why can't we look at the envelope insides? Fucking goddamn it, Emma. Bet she doesn't have a lot of spending money. Red envelope. Alright, sorry. Okay, yeah, yeah. Nothing, okay. This painting came from behind that dresser. Oh yeah, so? It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Maybe you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. That's what you think. Drew Measham was a forger. A forger? Oh, alright. Forger. So what exactly is a forger? Well, basically someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copy, so precise you couldn't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as a real article. That's a crime, of course. So Drew Measham was... a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work on illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this in here in the first place. What do you mean? I'm trying to determine if a painting is a forgery. The rough sketch underneath it can be a valuable clue. The rough sketch is like a practice for the real thing. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. Not in the case of a forgery, not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all. Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really need to go to such lengths. Seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyways. Still, it'd be neat to see what Mr. Measham's rough sketches are. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True. That would be interesting. Maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Battery will get you everywhere, they say. Maybe we should ask Emma to help us out. Emma, can we play more DS games? I wanted to see a rough sketch underneath this painting. I was wondering if your tool there might help do the trick. Oh, fine, fine. Just this time, though. Let's check it out. Let's do... this one. Yeah, this is what's under the abstract. Oh! Interesting. Okay, let's print this one out. Interesting. Poker game? What? What the heck? Wow, he really blows. This finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Price like mine didn't exist until recently. Probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, traces of charcoal between the paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch. But not what it looked like. Ah, I think I follow you. But in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely. Then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Mishin was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them. Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about that sketch itself is kind of odd. Roughly silent all of a sudden, Apollo. Think we check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? Okay. That was weird. That was very specific, what we saw. Could this be? That's a noodle stand. What? What? What is happening? This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look serious all of a sudden. You think I could look at the last one of these? You're fine by me. Knock yourselves out. What does this mean? What? So this one should be something to do with like Lemoire, right? Oh, it's Gavin. Whoa, what? What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Seriously, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? These are all super specific. You love this TS stuff. Listen, when they do cool shit like tie it all together, yeah, that's cool. It's very tedious, but that was a good way. That was a very cool reveal. Ah, there. Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man pulling the noodle stand? And then the events that transpired during the Gaviniers concert. What could it mean? How could he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Measham your father? Give me a break. Does that seem even remotely possible to you? Never even heard of any Drew Measham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But there were my cases, drawn on canvases. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Measham? And what did he have to do with me? To be continued. What? What a bonkers reveal. What does that mean? Fucking hell. Alright. I guess we keep going. Yeah, yeah. Getting magic. Like, What? When did the game start? It was in August, right? Good morning. So you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy Wright. That's right with a W. Not, but not right? We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please? Good morning. She speaks! Not bad. But I think you did better with the smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, that's not okay anymore. You can't say that. Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Oh. Thank you for taking my case. Aw, that's cute. Okay. Well, that's a start, I guess. Here she goes with the nail polish again. Is that nail polish? What? That's a crazy nail polish bottle. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Oh, really? Girls. We're in a defendant's lobby. The victim, Drew Measham, was a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. Life of crime, really. Maybe one that led to his death. You don't know. Maybe it's clear coat. Well, we will now begin the trial of the Vera Measham. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy. He's looking around like all nervous like. Repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the juris system, and the first step towards a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission. The jurors will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurors in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras will watch the courtroom at all times. The jurors have access to everything that transpires. Jurist, judge, well, judge be cool. Jurist, judge well, and judge cool. Oh. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. My apologies there, Judge. Jurist, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trials with evidence, but by their feeling. And we're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is painter Drew Measham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? None other than the defendant, Vera Measham. Objection! There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Tongue, someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, the poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug. Residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts it as evidence. According to this report. I don't know. Let's see. According to this report, Drew Measham, 52, male, time of death October 6, between 9 and 9:30 p.m. Cause of death, atropine poisoning. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning. Chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is a touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. Witness will state his name and occupation.
All right. Well, for starters, my name is Spark Russell. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brushel.
I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make park, sandbox, endless desert, waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turned Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote.
Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury is still out. Now we can make that joke.
I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next. Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
It does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
What are you saying? Judge!
Need I remind you, the cameras are rolling today. I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please.
We just sit here around 9:30 at night to the interview.
9:30 at night. Isn't that a little late for an interview?
If the great painter Drew Meashram says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. Our first, and as it turned out, last interview with such a prolific painter.
Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? You're the first reporter ever in Drew's studio?
Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. A basically insignificant step for all mankind, but a giant step for that Brushel guy, end quote.
If no one on the outside ever had access to that studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So how did this epoch make an interview go?
Got our coffee right after we started.
Would you mind being a little more specific?
Oh, well, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait, 4th grade.
That's not what I meant. I believe we know what Air Forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that. That's what I was going to say, really.
Oh, now, if you're going to be questioning, if you got a question to ask, you best ask it straight up. That's what I tell the new recruits several times if necessary. Write for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only write grade school level stuff, mind you.
Who touched the coffee?
Dunno. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it.
And what happened next?
You know what happened next. Star falls, end quote.
What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over.
Shall we? You don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls, get it?
But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, lacks punch. I know, star dies. Nah, lacks imagination. Of course, I could go with Drew dies. Straight to the point. I like it.
I think we need to hear some more about... Hear about something substantial. Brushel's coffee, the Star's coffee, the moment of death. How about when Mr. Measham passed away?
Oh boy, what a scene that was. He put his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes, and then?
And the cold finger of death touched his spine. Life's flame sputters fells. So cold was his touch, he could do not but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go.
I think he's starting with this article already. Could you describe it a little more simply?
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure is final performance. End quote.
Atroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow, and the limbs tremble, and the... That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, I want details. Lots of juicy details.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinine, My Love, by the Gavineers, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of atroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Very important. Very important? Fuck it, very important. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness add his account to this testimony. You say it was definitely death by poison? How can you be so sure?
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. I've had more than my fair share of experiences with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye. End quote.
Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? Sure. So you drank the coffee that Vera served you, too?
Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though.
You're still alive, which is to say, you didn't die.
Of course not. No point falling before you're a star, end quote.
That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not the coffee.
Oh yes, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side.
No chance a guess would take that one by mistake, I guess. Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important? No. So Russell drank the coffee too. Doesn't look like this is going to lead to much. Very well, please continue with the testimony. Let's see what the last bit is. The Stars coffee. You say Mr. Mishima had the coffee too. Did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yet? I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip of that. If that. Man puts his up to mugs, drinks, end quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear.
My stomach did a so-called somersault. Since I gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone wants to venture a guess, for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, you find the testimony valuable. Sure. You can drink his coffee, then immediately fell over?
Oh yes, yes. You can go to press with that one.
Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. Witness will add this to his testimony.
Vital, right.
He one sip if that. His next moment he was on the floor. Present coffee mug. Objection! The coffee mug's still full. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atroquinine. Oh? Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission? Atroquinine is as virulent as he says. But death doesn't come upon ingestion, not immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow-acting. Slow-acting? What? According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most virulent poisons but it's absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes for the time of the ingestion for adverse effects to show. I don't remember getting this information at all. What? I don't remember this. I was assuming that, yeah, okay. The poison is just as fast acting as the game is leading me to believe. So why is the mug still full? Did she? Oops. Oopsies. I wasn't paying attention to that. At least not to the degree that it entered my memory. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Measham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. What is that portrait? Order, order! What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard. Too busy with Snackaroo. Yeah, I guess so. Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Slow acting. Slow act. It was virulent, alright? Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop. It's Brushel, yeah? Here, Brushel. Let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was not such a subliminal suggestion. End quote. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say off Widerstand to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? Fuck, I fucked up Alvida-san. That's embarrassing. As the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the sim. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop. Ew. Gross. I hate this guy. He is on level with Dr. Hickfield. I hate him.
Look, wait, just wait a second, 1 second.
We're waiting. Out with it.
I think I just recall a show called Important Detail. A revival recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote.
Turning utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I heard poisoning that takes a sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
You bet I am. The antidote for poison is contradiction, end quote. You might say.
Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote. I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned the coffee.
Order. As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Measham died the instant after he drank.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And my dreams of exclusive rights to the story.
Suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him. Him. Phoenix Wright, who else? Octang here, Brushel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the juris system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court what you noticed.
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Measham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Think about it. What if he was writing a suicide note?
A suicide note.
Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote.
Suicide. Poor Mr. Measham. But that means Vera is innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. It's not the letter. No, not that. There's no other envelope. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Measham?
Well, just Audrey Vera, of course.
Anyone besides Mr. Measham and Vera present?
Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
The only person who didn't belong to the studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel?
I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic Ramsden phenomenon ploy, end quote.
You intend to suggest that reporter is the suspect. I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? So he put the letter away when he saw you?
Or the reporter gets to worm, end quote. That's my secret.
I'm not sure I follow.
Last night of the interview, I arrived 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, door opens, and I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really?
Mr. Measham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into the yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one.
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice, wonder. It does have the ring of something important. I don't think there's any penalty to adding it to testimony. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor. Very well, please add it to the testimony then.
Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge.
Yellow envelope left at the crime scene. And you saw him seal the yellow envelope with the letter.
Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw.
Apollo, you think this might be our big break, yeah. We need to show some decisive evidence now. But it's not. It's red. It's a red envelope. A suicide note?
Oh yeah, don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know?
So you didn't actually check the letter?
Of course not. It was sealed. Contents of can unknown until can is opened, end quote.
You can always check the label. You think Mr. Measham was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve the case in a jiffy. Kind of makes me wonder about that letter. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time?
Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring, end quote.
So what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Measham's behavior?
Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you all this to begin with.
Very well, continue with your testimony. Yellow envelope was left at the crime scene. I guess it's pulling me to present the red envelope.
Objection!
Yeah. As it just so happens, there was a single letter in the desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope. What? Ugh. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was the yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But at her forehead, it's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess. But not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brushel.
I can explain that. Drew, right, he wanted to get a letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope, crammed it away.
And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim? That night, the victim put the letter he had been writing in a red envelope. Fuck it, it's impossible. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope. With, the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Measham. Oh. Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself.
I've been scooped!
Order, order, order! Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. How old is he? 36. Good God. 52, 19, 25. God, I'm old. Gavin's 24? What? What? Holy shit. God, I'm old.
Oh, that's that thing, see. After he puts his letter in that envelope, Mr. Beesham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp. End quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, I made a little letter. What else?
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Gavin being 20. It says 24 there, though.
And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put that letter in a box. Put it in the letter box. Yes, it was a yellow envelope. He put it in that box.
Well, apparently, this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case.
Oh, how I wish it did. Just think of that. That were a suicide note. What a story. Star witness writes suicide note in front of reporter. Falls.
As I was saying, there's nothing to do with this case. That said, yes, Your Honor. Makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. Wait. Measures 2 inches by 2 inches, bears traces of deadly poison, aquatrine. In a suspiciously square formation. Deposit $100,000 in the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you to speak of this to no one. What? So the stamp they sent with this envelope 7 years ago was poisoned and just waiting to kill him? In his studio the whole time? What? Who killed him? Paid a lot of money to someone. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. So this was from 7 years ago, yeah?
So am I finished here? Am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone. When you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face.
Ah, come on. Attorney has active imagination, little else. End quote.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. Judge has active imagination, end quote. Please, continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of that story.
Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here, usually.
Oh God. This sounds wrong, not factually wrong to be prosecutor and star lawyer. Well, I think Miles was like 20-something. I think he was the same age as Nick, so like 24. So he's about the same age Gavin was, and he was a crazy lawyer who never lost.
Actually, it took a bit of work to get the thumbs up before an interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerning a certain case from 7 years ago. My red envelope probably has something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare.
So you threatened to go to the press with this story. That's how you got your interview. Blackmail?
Well, yes. I mean, no. It wasn't exactly I'm not,
Something wrong, Mr. Brushel.
Look. This is my story, my tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood, end quote.
I see.
We got me chatting away here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsmith or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going to the press while I'm going to waste.
The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? The DL6 incident! God, this is giving me so many vibes of the first Ace Attorney game, where it's just 6 years ago. What happened 6 years ago? It's so fucking dumb. It's asked me to perceive. There's one. That's right. It's good for. Yeah, I guess so. Eyebrow switch. No. Nothing in that one. Interesting. Alright, let's start pressing first. The victim, Drew Measham, had an aversion to reporters?
Or, I guess, not even my considerable charms did much for him. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is.
Maybe you can elaborate on that for a bit. A bit for us. Exactly what sort of story was this?
Oh, little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing in between. End quote. I'm not suggesting I had a lead on this particular story. I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing, honest.
So a suggestion was enough to get an interview? Mr. Measham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. A certain case 7 years ago? Tell us what case.
Let me say one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Why not?
It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalists reveal sources only over his dead body, end quote. So what'll that be? You gonna strangle me? Dead men don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney.
He sounds pretty determined not to talk. Our chance of breaking his will aren't looking good. Nothing really? Okay. On the one hand, we have your story, and another, we have this letter. What makes you think the two were related?
Oh, I was just saying it's possible. Not reported intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You gonna pick them all apart? Be my guest.
All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Measham? Just how amazing was Mr. Measham's talent?
Huh? Oh, wee boy. I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star. The flow of his brushes is like a great undulated river across a canvas. Artist paints light up studio like stun, end quote.
This guy's full of wacky gestures. That one just now was wackier than usual. Looked kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. Something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring you out you know what. That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. I wonder what this story he's talking about is. It must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that. Maybe it's something to do with Mr. Measham's art. Okay, yeah. I think I just got that hint too. Receive. No, not his eyebrows. Some hand, and a swallow. Try this first one. Actually, it took quite a bit of work to get a thumbs up in the interview. Not swallowing. It's not the crap in his pocket. God, I hope not. It looks strangely animated. Like it could be moving. Certain case. 7 years ago. Pass. And again. No change there. I'm looking at his ears, his eyebrows, his eyes. There's not a lot to work with here. His talent was without compare. I thought I saw a twitch, but no, it was just, that was just the thing, is what's its... The, like, action lines around the iris. Crap in his pocket. It's as low as I can go. So it is very possible that that could be... Here again. I want to say it's his big stupid fucking nose, but I can't be sure. Is his pen twitch? They call out the last one. It's gotta be that. I don't know what is here, but it's gotta be this one, right? He's gotta know that Drew was a forger. That Drew's talent. It's somewhere on Drew's talent. I'm convinced of it. You can't tell me otherwise. This crap. Ew. I saw that. What is that? Is that a sweat stain? That's fucking gross. Hold on. Go back. Ew. Oh, that's awful. Oh, why is that it? Oh, I hate this guy. That's gross. That's gross. You're yen. Oh, that's gross. Drew's talent. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel?
Yes, well, I mean, can't help his glands, you know?
It's more than that. When Mr. Measham's talent was mentioned, he suddenly began to sweat buckets.
Ugh. You're hiding something about his talent.
You know, you're hiding something about his talent.
What? That's ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show Mr. Measham's true talent, where Mr. Measham's true talent lay. I so happen to have evidence showing the talent with the letter that was mentioned. This one. Landscape, half-finished sketch is still visible. Right? This one.
I can't help but wonder, what did correspondence conclude from this piece of evidence? Oh, I don't know, you made a horrible mistake. Man burns bridge, forgets to cross first. End quote.
Fuck you! What? Let's try that again. Reveal what Mr. Measham really was. It shouldn't be so hard, right? Happens to have evidence. Was it the stolen one? He stole it in order to forge it, I guess? Because if that one doesn't work, these ones aren't going to work. I guess this one. This painting was found in Mr. Measham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first, it wasn't painted by Mr. Measham. The second is that there was another painting in that studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries.
Oog!
Can we get another witness? This guy is gross.
Everyone, please, everyone. Can we keep this private, please? This is my story, my scoop.
Forgery. That's a serious crime.
Drew Measham is known as an artist these days, but there are rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back.
Another art, meaning forgery.
Drew Measham was talented, alright, talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't be seriously be talking about...
Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. Rumors started circulating 7 years ago.
So 7 years ago. So are we to understand that this letter... Oh. This payment of $100,000 was for...
Exactly. Forged evidence nets a tidy profit, end quote.
Oh. Order, order, order. Why, it's like our victim was living a double life. Haha, this is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity there. But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. You, of course. And you, of course.
Hey, the only thing I poisoned is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. Doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen.
What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation from that studio from the recap, the trial is over. Apollo, what's he talking about? Cross-examination showed Mr. Brushel didn't have a reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects, the killer had to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance. We have evidence. It was a stamp that poisoned them. Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please.
The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee, since she admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died, nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
Nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Oh, shucks. You really think so?
I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination. Right. Still have one trump card left to play. I won't let this trial end until I use it. You sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
One of those candies might have been poisoned.
That's...
And yet, at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room. And no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, you have some proof. Possibility is there, I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it, not yet. And the possibility isn't going to cut it, not now. Mr. Measham ingested poison via route other than coffee. I can prove it. Proof is possible. Gotta risk it. Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence. What evidence shows that the victim wasn't poisoned via his coffee mug? It's a penalty. Must I explain this over and over? We don't need possibilities here, Forehead. We need proof. I know that. You'd also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early. I can tell you what we know about at this point. The victim put nothing to his mouth except that coffee mug. First things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again. I am shocked that didn't give me a penalty. Not one thing, you sure?
Yep, sure as can be. Oh, with one exception.
One exception? What?
Journalist Sparks Brushel does interview. Leave studio. End quote. Aha, come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still.
Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? In the testimony 5 minutes ago. Well, we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts. I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night? Just one thing. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene. By which you mean... something other than our witness. Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Measham? Believe me, any comedic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. Well then, let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice. Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene. Red envelope. Oh, no, mailbox. This is the only link between the studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Ah, but that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Measham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared? Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. Seems very important to me. Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony.
You got it.
Still think this fails to change anything here, Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. Present, letter, present. Witness statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. Oh, fucking... What? Ah! Press. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you were hiding that fact from us.
Yes, well, actually...
I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from that studio. But Air Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Alright, now... Right, how was Mr. Mission poisoned, I know? Mr. Brush's testimony has changed. I mean, the facts of the case after two. What he's told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think. Keep thinking, Apollo. Okay, now I can... now I can present it? Present. Tiny frame. Ah, fuck. Oh, I need to press first and then... Okay. Sure about that.
Objection!
Mr. Mission ingested a poison via route other than coffee. I can prove it. Proof is possible. Here goes nothing. So now that we have that to his testimony, now this contradicts testimony. Proof, Air Forehead, not possibilities. Of course. And, Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. Ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have the proof of the disappearing envelope.
I saw him writing a letter, I did.
Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume. Of course, which means... that envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp? Ah. As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it. By licking the stamp.
Objection!
No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age. Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait. How does that explain the atroquinine on the rim of the coffee mug? If he licked the back of his poison stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around. What? The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Measham. Mr. Measham poisoned the coffee mug himself. I like this twist. How we got here is real stupid. But I like this twist. But that doesn't... Does it? Recall, if you would. Atroquinine is slow-acting poison, yes? The poison enters his body when he put the stamp on the envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment his lips touched that cup of joe. You have something to add, Mr. Brushel. Uh-oh. His nose is picking up another scent.
As I believe I mentioned earlier. Oh, that's the thing, see. After he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Measham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. That's a stamp. A so-called postage stamp. End quote. But you know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one.
Maybe he just run out. Incidentally, we searched his desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one. That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found.
That makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. Can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp? Now, there we go. Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean really little. It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection, so what? Ah, apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important. Missing something? Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atroquinine residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You aren't saying... Oh, but I am. Tell me what fits such a small frame. A commemorative stamp, perhaps? Order, order, order! The poison stamp was in this frame? Impossible. But Prosecutor Gavin. Oh, he put something like that on his desk. Don't tell me he had it in there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
Can I say something? I had a thought, see.
What, Mr. Brushel? And please, stop jittering around like that.
The victim was a forger, right? There were a lot of money in the line at work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too, end quote.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him.
Objection!
Oh, rich. That's rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gavineers' song lyrics, please. Finally, something we can agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon? Nonsense. Murder is simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Measham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail. The mail? Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew could read letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together. What? What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Measham was killed. Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice. A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with an intent to kill sent Mr. Measham the stamp of death. Red letter. Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago. Think about the text of the letter again. $9,000 designated account. Place on the letter receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. There are 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor. Ah. In other words,
survive this straight. The stamp, poison. On the stamp, the click, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put a stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox. 15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene. Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system. Such a splendid imagination you have there, Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago. Yeah? That would have us believe, really. What? Well, this is a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder. A poison stamp in this envelope? A stamp that then became a murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago and we don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silence, I see. Very well, I move to... It's not nice to pick on the Fräulein, Cavalier. Oh shit! Ah, Emma! Oh, she was doing an impression of his brother? That's kind of fucked up. Didn't we just put his brother away for murder? That's really fucked up, Emma. That's really fucked up. Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression? Did I sound like him? Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone had to come and dig you out of someone had to come and dig you all out of the mess you're making of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in the science a little more. You can find out if that stamp was in that envelope. Easy. Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? Glare at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right! The poison detection spray. Produce the red envelope, at once! You can open it on the authority of the court. I spy a stamp-shaped thing that is full of poison. Oh, I have to examine it. I was taking a drink of water. Well, would you look at that? No mistaking it. That's the atrocanine residue. I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Objection!
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why did this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Mission figured it out. Figured what out? He realized that the person who sent the letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp. And put his decisive evidence in a frame. Ugh, you're still here.
Can I make a statement here on the record? I, Spark Razortooth Brushel, claim to scoop his mine. Drew Measham killed in cold blood. I sender of 7-year-old letter, end quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star fault after 7-year delay, end quote.
Order, order, order! I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. You think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife, end quote. Uh-oh. I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge. I see no need for further debate on this matter. Sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant. Apollo, I think we just won. Very well. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
What? Is this the bright future of our legal system? Prosecutor, Gavin? A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago? Tickets for Gavin shows are invalid after 2 weeks. But it doesn't make sense any other way. It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in Air Forehead's claim. Contradiction? Poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, why would Drew Measham have done what he did? Emma explained it. He must have realized it was poisoned. Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misha sent a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Ah, surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Measham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years, and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? Well, I admit, this is all quite shocking. I find this all quite shocking myself. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap that had already been sitting on his desk for 7 years. Apollo. I don't think we're winning this anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back Back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
Objection!
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? Poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? Ugh. I see no proof that such a thing ever existed.
Objection!
What about the atrocanine residue, huh? Oh, I agree, it does seem to be atrocanine residue. But her forehead, it's certainly no stamp. Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Mishim never would have used it. That is all. Ah. I believe we've come to a conclusion, again. Apollo, were we wrong the whole time? I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be a coincidence. I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor. Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison atrocanine on the document inside the envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene, on this tiny picture frame. The defenses indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it. Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, Andrew Measham, knowing this, put it up in a frame. He never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right, which means there's a fatal flaw in the defense's case. Haven't I been on the wrong track? I haven't been on the wrong track the whole time, I'm sure of it. Traces of atrocanine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Measham's mysterious death. We're all connected somehow. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us? The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. I'm gonna say he didn't know. He put the stamp in the case just so he could be ready for whenever it happened. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be fake. Ah, fake clue. Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's thrown us off the poison trail is none other than... The red envelope, the frame, Drew Measham? What is what does that mean? Why is the defendant, or why is the victim the... Alright. The red envelope, is that fake? It certainly could be fake. The envelope was reopened rather roughly and wasn't sealed properly. We're assuming nobody thought. Yeah? Fake clue that was thrown us off the poison trail is none other than Drew Measham. The victim was a fake clue. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself.
Objection!
Congratulations, you completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger. It makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries. Ah! I know that face. That's the I just had an idea face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. Our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles onto that very same trap and dies. Why? That's what I want to know. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap, one forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. Order, order, order! So you're telling us that Drew Measham, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was a fake, who was the real forger? You better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo. I'm afraid you're gonna have to back up your story. Yeah, it's gotta be Vera, yeah? Vera is the actual forger, and Misham was a fake. Or, not Misham. Drew was a fake. Mr. Justice, show who the real Drew Misham was. If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Misham himself was a forger. Forger Drew Misham himself was a forgery. The real forger was Vera Misham. 19, so 7 years ago she'd have been 12. Alright. There can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger, known as Drew Misham, is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham. We've done a lot of accusing our clients. We've done this a lot. We have indicted our superior defense attorney. What was the first case? We have indicted a witness. That's justice. We have indicted. We've indicted our client for smuggling. Now we're pointing to our client again as a forger. That's goofy. Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you. I kinda agree. I mean, Vera, a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger. Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense. One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility, by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Misham. Well? Fascinating. Oh, can we stop looking at the back of this loser? Get him a sky bag. Vera Misham. You've been paying attention to the trial so far. Let's just ask her and we'll be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger, Drew Misham? Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Frolines, believe me. Well, they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes. So, forger Drew Misham was you? Yes, it was me. What? What? The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had a break for 10-minute recess. Fucking good lord. Save your current progress, yes. Oh my god, we're still on trial resumes. I don't know if I have time for this tonight. God, this is gonna be fucking 4 streams, isn't it? I don't think I have time for this, unfortunately. Not that I don't want to, but I do have to go and take care of something. So, I might take a little bit of a break. I know it's day 1. We're not even done the first trial. There's still the back half of this trial to look at. So I might take a little bit of a break, come back in maybe an hour or so, and do a little bit more streaming. So, keep an ear out. If I'm not going to be back, I'll mention Discord, whatever. But for now, I gotta go check on something. Alright. So, This is fucking wild. I guess we'll see where it goes in a bit. Back in a few. Yeah. Fucking later.